welcome to the Ghosts of Koresh. Obviously on the cusp of the new raid next week. I'll be going to Germany on Sunday for the Race to World First. Oh, it's good. And my first time jumping into like a patch as if I was a Mythic Raider again. So I have quite a few thoughts on that. And mainly this video is going to be focused on the things that have changed from my boomer eyes that have become accepted now, which wasn't that way, dude. It wasn't that way. Pros and cons, as always, we're fair. We call a spade a spade. Let's talk about some of the pros. Let's get started. I really enjoyed where they went with the story with Zali and the manipulation of Illyria. Our prediction still holds that Illyria will fall to the void at some point and probably be a raid boss of some kind. Which will probably prompt our good lady Sylvanas, that you can see on the shelf behind me, wherever she is. She's there. She's next to Baggy. Will be making her return from her more dailies at some point. And that's probably likely to happen. Really enjoyed that stuff of Zali just being just an absolute queen and playing with Illyria. Until Illyria was like, you know what? Screw all of you. I'm out of here. I'm done with this. I was like, that's fair, but I also have definitely less interest in the story of what's going on with these mummies and the Ravel and their Eco-Dome getting hit by meteors and things like that. I was like, that's stuff I'm not so interested in, although Zali was still manipulating them and forming armies and whatever. Yeah, because she's a Viper. She's going to sting us at some point, but you're like, it's okay. It's okay. You do what you want to do. But overall, really like that. A lot of good cutscenes mixed in there. I will say I'm very happy with the amount of voice acting they're doing. And the quality of it. It's really well done. It's a little getting to the point where it's a bit Path of Exile, where it's very overly elaborate and flowery language, like someone's delivering some sort of theatrical Shakespearean performance. I did run into a couple of issues, because some of the dialogue is triggered by proximity, some of it by clicking on people, is where they had so much dialogue that was paragraph after paragraph that they were overlapping and cutting the other person off if you moved a certain way, and I was like, okay, like, it's really good that you're doing all this voice acting. Just get a bit more to the point, right? WoW's quest text has always been like that. Sometimes it's like a whole paragraph, and then at the end it goes, and we need you to kill 8 guys. And you're like, okay, I get it. I get it, right? Kill 8 guys, pick up 4 guys. I actually think they did this better at the launch of The War Within, where they paced it in a way that getting to the quest guy would have enough time for the dialogue to play out naturally. So even if you skipped the quest text and just accepted, which most people do, is it still kept you up to date on what was actually happening, and you could read it as well in the little dialogue boxes and all that kind of stuff. Now they've gone a little too far. I would bring that back in, so it's not just at one point I was like, you guys need to shut up, because they were just talking and talking and talking, and none of it was really relevant. It was, you know, just very like, I need to deliver my speech now. And one day there was this Ravel and we were betrayed because Xalatath told us this. And, you know, okay, let's just calm down. We get it. So maybe just dial that back a bit. It's one of the consequences, actually, of another pro is that you can fly in the zone immediately, because you are moving from quest objective to quest objective far quicker than you would normally do. But still, we get to fly at the beginning. Thumbs up. Big thumbs up to that. But yeah, I enjoyed the story up until Illyria left, and I was less interested in it. But so far, so good. Got your Reshi raps. A lot of ribbon talk going on. I need your ribbon in order to make my rappy raps, which we've done now, which is cool. The other pros, again, the cutscenes were very good. I like the invasion of Tazavesh. They set the scene now for the sabotage and the void here, and Dementius is coming and doing all this nasty stuff. Then it got into the actual gameplay stuff. Really like the class changes. My Shadow Priest was much better. Double Shadow Crash is fantastic. And then let's talk about some negatives as well, which were, one, the world boss. I put this out on Twitter because I don't know what's happened to world bosses over the last couple of years, but they've really become such an afterthought of pointlessness. And now they're just a grievance in my eyes. They really are. The world boss should be something you kind of look forward to every week for quite a while, especially as a casual player. I could separate this into 2 categories. One is relevance. The gear they drop is not great. 688, which will be massively irrelevant next week. Even for people doing slightly higher than world content, will be not necessarily doing this content anymore. Why is there a belt on it? So as a cloth user, there's 2 items on the boss for me. One is shoulders and one is a belt. So the belt is dead anyway. Why are you putting belts in the game when the delve belt is a thing? And you can do that at like level 1 delve, like whatever. And the shoulders I got on the first kill. So from my perspective, the world boss is also completely dead for me forever. I know some of you will be like, yeah, but it drops warband alt gear and stuff. And it's a very alt-focused expansion with warbands and what. I totally get that, for sure. But for anybody who is playing one character, it's just useless to me now and done. Not that that's a terrible thing because of the second horrible thing, the performance. This doesn't work, right? It just flat out doesn't work. It hasn't worked for literally years. We did the video years and during BFA with the dice rolling, which Blizzard confirmed is the actual problem with the way the characters work, just destroy the game. It's one of the reasons FF14 has a player cap of a certain amount of players. That's it. That's all that can be literally transmitted to your machine, because past that, the amount of data, it doesn't matter how good your PC is, the amount of data needed in order to process what everybody's doing is too much. It's far, far too much. So they cap it out to make sure the gameplay experience is good. What's weird is Blizzard's already solved this in the past many times. Argus would be the prime example. They did have an open world boss in Argus, but the primary bosses you did were actually in instances. You went through portals, they had a player cap on them, and you had little world bosses in there. They're still very easy. They need to probably instance these off at this point because it's just an absolutely miserable experience, especially if the boss does a lot of damage and has a lot of HP like this one does. I know Dratnos was saying that his team took like 2 bloodlusts. It was like 11 or 12 minutes to kill it. Ours didn't take that long, but it wasn't fun. You can't play your character. People just die. I died even when I was like clicking a shield on myself, knowing the damage was coming and being prepared for it, and it didn't matter. Like by the time the spell actually fired, it was after the spell had come that I was prepared for seconds. Healing people is almost an impossibility. You just can't cast spells. What a miserable, awful, just terrible experience. I think the world boss should remain relevant for a while and also be something to look forward to and have fun with. So it probably does need to be instanced off. I know some people said, doesn't that destroy the world aspect of it? I mean, yeah, but also, like, it's a practical solution. Like, the game just doesn't function while this is happening. And if the argument is, yeah, but people won't be bothered with it in a week, then that's also another negative that falls into the relevance category, right? That's why these two things are both bad and both need addressing. Because the world boss should be fun. It was fun. It was something that you did kind of throughout the entire season. Not anymore. So, yeah, that was horrible. And also lags the entire zone. Like, even if you're not doing the world boss, you still suffer for it. So even though I don't need to personally do the world boss again, because I'm not playing alts right now, I still get punished for it because the game lags while the world boss is going on. Like, it just sucks overall and needs to be fixed. I would love them to throw some time and attention to make world bosses great again. Make them great again, because they were cool. They were fun. Now they suck. They should be easy. They're supposed to be a one-shot, but like they're supposed to be kind of grand. Make it an Ixia style. Give us a bit of an environment, a bit of a story. Hell, it's a fantasy game. Come up with any dog crap reason you want. Like, why don't we just have void-infused memory of Alakir? We go to Alakir's place. It's a bit purple, and you get an easy version of Alakir. You've got all these grandiose bosses. Memory of Ragnaros coming out of the fire, or pick a boss. It doesn't matter. Let's have an Nefarian back for a bit. Whatever. Make new ones if you want. I'll use the old ones like you do with Delves, but instance it off, give us a bit of an environment, a bit more grand. I would like to do like Void Mimeron, so everyone gets to fight the big robot walking around. Fine. Totally fine. Not whatever this is. This is awful. This is just so bad and needs fixing immediately. And I went off to do, once I got my Reshi wraps, I was like, I'm going to come back to Koresh and do that, and that's my plan for today. But what I want to do is M0. Before that, though, let's talk about bugs. This was the buggiest patch I have ever played in WoW, besides probably the launch of Warlords of Draenor. I don't know what's going on with the QA across the titans of MMOs, but for those of you who only play WoW, this is also kind of happening over in 14. They launched their big patch on the same day as WoW's patch. Like, literally same day. Weird, but I've never seen them overlap like that, but it did happen, and it happened this week. But they're having QA problems as well. They've got like melee gear that's got like spell casting stats on it. Imagine you're a rogue with enhanced spell haste. Okay. They've got some QA issues, a bunch of others going over there, but some people had a lesser problem than me. A lot of people had similar problems to me. I had to relog the game 7 times to get quests to updates. No joke. The game just did not recognize, oh, you picked up the dagger, you received dagger, quest didn't update. You found Guy and got the dialogue, didn't update. You found the stalker, didn't work. Just never-ending issues. I've never had issues like that. And what was interesting to me is a lot of people are like, yeah, it's patch day. It's like this. I'm like, no. It used to be. Maybe you guys have been used to it, because I have seen lots of reports of bugs on patch day being like egregious for a while now and moaning about the QA department. You're correct. I've experienced it. Yeah, you're correct. This is not okay. This kind of stuff should not be happening, like, at all, in any way, shape, or form. It should not be that bad. Bugs like, oh, the Great Vault's not triggered correctly. There's some sort of renown thing. Okay. Things they can fix. But just literally, like, the game just doesn't work. Because I saw a lot of people clearly having the same issues of me, but not knowing how to solve it. Just doing the quest over and over again because it just wouldn't work. I saw one guy who was just running around killing these things over and over again. And I'm like, he's got the same problem as me. And then I relogged, and it turned out I'd actually finished the quest. It had completed, even though I hadn't done what the quest asked me to do. But they must have done a thing where it's like, okay, well, if you did this and it's not working, we'll just auto-complete it for you. So just relogging, and it was like, oh, the quest is complete now. All right, sure, whatever. But I didn't do what the quest wanted me to do. So I saw another guy do the quest that they wanted to do because it worked for him. It was very weird. But yeah, that's not normal. And then went up to M0. This was really fun. Got to do the new dungeon, Ecodome Aldani, I think it's called. Nice, good, quick bosses. Nice and bit of a slower intro, and then just boss. Really good. Looking forward to that in M+ next week. I am curious, because I pointed out in my last video of the return week, is that by doing a full sweep of M0, I killed the rest of the game for me in terms of attaining gear outside of like doing higher M+ and heroic raiding. I wonder if that's happened now. Although we've only got up to 681. I think my character is 678 now, which is previous season mythic. I am wondering when the new season comes out if like, oh, you did M0, which is not hard to do. Everything is kind of irrelevant to you now outside of doing heroic and higher mythic plus. That's it. Because if that's obtainable within the pre-season patch, the season hasn't even started yet. That kind of sucks. And the reward structure might be a little out of whack. M0 used to be really good for just 5 days and then totally garbage. Hopefully that's still the case, because you don't want to be in that position where it's like, oh, I did M0 in the pre-season patch and everything's good now. We'll see in terms of whether that's the case. I haven't done crafting or anything yet, and we'll see where that leads us in terms of world content. Because we used to just call it the mythic tax. Like, it was a problem you had if you were a mythic raider, is the rest of the game was irrelevant to you, and that was a sad thing, because you wanted to enjoy the new patches and new content and new gear systems that came out, but they were always just so vastly inferior to what you already had that you didn't get to enjoy any of that stuff. If that's happening at like Mythic 0 level now, pretty much, then that sucks for a lot more people. So I'll be curious to see how that plays out for me as well. But much fun. And then did my delves. There's a fun thing going on that you guys probably already know about, which is the scaling in groups in delves. This was hilarious. We got a team together, and our goal was simple. We wanted to unlock all the tiers of delves to get all the get 11 completed, and then finish out the vault for next week. That was our plan. So we got together. It was fine up until 8, and then we started to notice some issues with the scaling. So what happened? Well, the last boss, we did the Azure Vaults because it's by far the quickest delve we had access to. Obviously, if you're just farming content for an end reward, you don't want to spend too much time doing it. So that was the fastest delve we had. The delve itself is fine. I'm not a huge delve guy. I like multiplayer content. The delves are designed really for the solo player. And we had a group of 5, so everybody could get their delves unlocked and their vaults unlocked, right? Made sense. The last boss on level 11, I think on its very highest tier, had about 100 million HP. Something like that. And took, I don't know, 30 seconds to 50 seconds to kill with a group of 5 using a standard setup of tank, 3 DPS, and a healer, which we were doing. And did need healing, so, you know, it was relevant. Did need tanking, did need healing. You could do it without, but it would be a bit of a pain. The Nemesis mobs. It was kind of funny. I won't ask Bex to find the clip because it was one of like, I don't know, the 12 delves we did. But it was funny watching it scale up. At 11, you could click it and it had 200 million HP base before you did anything to it, which is, as you'd probably listen to this, double the HP of the end boss of the dungeon. And you're like, okay. But as you clicked it and the scaling kicked in, it went to 1.2 billion HP. And there's multiple of them. There's at least 2, sometimes 3 of these things. 1.2 billion HP each. That's 12 times the HP of the final boss of the dungeon. It took so long to defeat. It didn't really do anything dangerous. You just had to just wail away on this sack of fleshy health. And what's even worse is one of the Nemesis mobs, shields itself for 200 million HP a time regularly that you can't purge, you can't dispel it. You've just got to chew through it. We were like, dude, I'm getting carpal tunnel fighting this damn thing. Like, certainly because it started scaling. I think at level 10, it was 900 million HP. So we'd noticed this happening. We were like, what is going on with these enemies, dude? They're absurd. And people were like, yep, that's delve scaling. It's been like that since the start. Blizzard, no, man. It's not fun fighting just a training dummy for like 6 to 7 minutes. We even ended up buying drums because we didn't have a natural bloodlust in order to counter this. Just to try and reduce the time that we spent fighting these goddamn things. Oh, it was horrible. Absolutely horrible, but funny nonetheless, as we completed and fleshed that out. A lot of fun. Either way, that was kind of the end of the day. I've done all the gearing I think I can do for week 1 for preseason. I've got lots of stuff to do in Koresh, which is going to be my second thing. And then I'm probably done until the patch day, until next week when the raid and the new season actually starts. Some people are like, wait, you're done already? I mean, if I add that up streaming hours, it's like 14 hours of streaming, 14 hours of gameplay for a single character while also like playing with good players. That's more than enough content for a preseason patch. Like if I look at it from the perspective of someone working, getting to play a few hours and then maybe their weekend, that's plenty. Really is. Like if you are day to day playing WoW, like as you know, that's what you do is you regularly play WoW like 8 to 10 hours a day or whatever. Then yeah, you're going to be done, in your opinion, too fast. But that's where alts and stuff come in. But for everybody else, like having like 14 hours of content, and that's not to even include like rep grinding if you wanted to do that. You know, all these other little elements that you can mess around with to really sort of like get minimal rewards, but a lot more time investment, the classic MMO. That's plenty of content. Like there's a good amount of stuff here to sink your teeth into. Usually people aren't like booking time off work for the preseason patch. So I'm pretty happy with what they've put out so far in terms of amount of content. Totally makes sense. And for me, if I'm done and I'm not going to start turning to alts because it's not like the old days where it's like we were playing WoW regardless of what we were doing or what we wanted to do or if we had anything to do. That's where you end up with like 11 alts and you're doing all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to play something else until the season starts. I'm fine with that. I'm totally okay with that. That's not a problem. Like, I don't see that as a negative. I've got lots of stuff to do. I've got the new 14 story. I've got a new 14 raid to do. I've got a billion other games that exist. Totally fine. I think they've done a good amount of content here. I'm looking forward to exploring Koresh today and seeing what's going on with the phase diarings. I haven't really done any of that. So that's my next goal. But overall, pretty happy. Some weird bugs and things that aren't necessary and do need addressing. But overall, decent enough for a preseason patch. So we'll see. I'm looking forward to the consequences of my actions. Let's see what that happens next week. All right. Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.